G'day everybody. A year ago I bought this Ryobi OLM HP 40cm cordless lawnmower. At the time we had a look at all of its features as a brand new mower in this video here. Now it's 12 months later, so let's have a look at what I found I like about it and what I found I dislike about it, and have a look at how it's fared over the last 12 months of fairly heavy use. We'll also have a look at this whippersnipper I bought at the same time and see how it's fared and what I like and dislike about it. Okay, firstly, how is the mower going? Well, I use about half of this 6 amp hour battery to do the backyard here. It's around 150 square meters. And if I'm doing the front yard as well, I'll use both batteries and I'll go through the entire of both batteries doing the front and the backyard. It's usually about flat once I'm done. And that's a combined total of about 350 square meters. So for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that. And that hasn't changed in the year. So I bought the battery with the mower and this 6 amp hour battery is going just fine. It hasn't changed at all. We haven't lost any charge. It'll do half a battery out the back and 2 batteries if we do the back and the front. The performance of the mower hasn't dropped either. I find it's very, very good. I normally mow on number 1 as low as I possibly can, and I leave the catcher on, which is actually not what's suggested in the manual. They say anything under 3, you should be using the mulcher, but I use a catcher in number 1 and it's fine. We usually fill a catcher for the backyard and we'll fill a catcher for the front as well. So you just have to empty it when you change from the back to the front, which is quite all right. 50 liters is more than enough for the mower. Okay, let's talk pros and cons. Firstly, what do I like about it? I like how lightweight it is. It's easy to push around. I like that I can collapse the handle, fold it up, and I can store it away very easily without smelling petrol through my garden shed. I like that I can flip it upside down to wash it out, and there's no problem with oil or petrol spilling out of it. I also like just how quiet it is. It's very, very quiet. I do not need earmuffs when I'm using it. You certainly can wear them and you probably should, but it's not very loud at all. You compare it to a petrol, it's basically silent. I also like how long it lasts. It's perfect for my yard. 2 charged batteries. I know I can do everything I need to do and park it away, and these aren't completely depleted, although they are very close to. Okay, and the cons, what I don't like about it. It is the little things, but there are a couple of things that do annoy me about this mower. One is, because it doesn't have an engine, it's not very heavy up front. Once you get a catcher full of grass, especially wet grass, you'll tend to find that it tries to tip over a little bit. There's not much weight at the front in order to counteract the weight that you're putting in the back. So you'll find it tends to do this a little bit. Once this is very, very full, it'll actually sit like this. Little things, but that does get a little bit annoying. If you have a full catcher, you may need to empty it more than once just because it's heavy, not because it's full. We also have the way that we remove the catcher here. If you can see, I'll usually grab the catcher through the handle here like this, and my arm will actually get stuck. I often forget that I need to collapse the handle in order to remove the catcher. It's a little thing, but it does catch me out every now and then. Just the way it's designed, removing the catcher isn't as easy as it could be because you do have to collapse the handle or have a very, very long arm, which I don't. Other than that, I'm very much enjoying the design of it, and I've got no other complaints. It's been operating perfectly, and everything about it has done the job that I need it to do. Now physically, how has it fared? I leave it out in the weather quite a bit. I leave it out in the sun quite a bit. It mostly spends its time in the garden shed, but occasionally I forget and I do leave it out. The wheels, the bearings and everything, still very good, no issue there, even though they are plastic. This little window here, still good. There's no cracks or anything like that. The color is starting to fade a little bit, probably because I leave it in the sun, and the stickers are starting to come off, but I'm not really too worried about that. No issues with the deck here. There's no cracks or anything. The plastic is pretty UV stable and everything is working as it should. Underneath, the blades all looks pretty good. A couple little chips here and there, but that's definitely my fault. Okay, now when it comes to the whippersnipper or weed whacker or line trimmer or even strimmer, depending on where you come from, this particular one is the Ryobi Easy Edge. It's not a HP or anything, it's just a OLM version. It's extendable, which is very, very handy. You can have it as long or as short as you want it. Obviously it locks off. It also has the ability to swivel the head 180 degrees for when you're doing an edge, as you can see here. And the head also will pivot. So you can basically weed whack or strim or line trim wherever you really want to. It's very handy. All the motor is in the head, so there's a little bit of weight there, but we counteract that weight with a battery. Much like this, it's actually quite balanced. If you put a heavy battery on, you do tend to find it's a little bit more fatiguing if you're on a 6 amp hour battery, and you really don't need it. 2.5 amp hour battery, I do everything around here, and I've got no issues at all with this. I've had it a little bit over 12 months, and I use it a lot. I think I've only ever filled the line on it once. The line itself is a single strand line. I think it doesn't really have enough power to run two, but with a single, I've got no issue doing everything I need to do around here. It's not exactly commercial grade, but for a hobbyist who just kicks around his house and does a little bit of whippersnipping, it's been perfect. And once again, I leave it out in the sun all the time. I don't treat it with much respect, but it works very well. It's got 96 LWA hearing rating, so you should wear earmuffs, but for the most part, it's not very loud at all. Okay, when it comes to rewinding this string on this particular type of whippersnipper, we have to take this cap off here. There's a couple of buttons we press, the cap comes off, and we pull the center out here. It tells us which direction in which to wind the line, and we just add the line into the hole. There's a hole on here, just in this top section here. We can push the line into that hole, and then we wind in the direction in which it's asked us to there. Try and layer the wire so it doesn't trip over itself, because we don't want it getting tangled up. It can get quite hot in there too, and they melt together a little bit. Probably do a better job than I'm doing, but anyway. We wind on, and then we leave ourselves a little bit of a tail hanging out here. We push that tail through the hole here, and then we drop this in like that. There's a little piece here. If we push this, we can advance the wire as far as we need to, but this will auto advance. Every time we let go of the trigger, it will auto advance the line. Let me push this bit back into where it comes from here, and it's ready to go, and it will automatically cut itself off if it's too long. So if we give it too much string, the guard will cut the line off so it's exactly the right length. So all up, I am still very happy with both of these items. They've both gone very well. I've had no issues whatsoever. Thank you very much for watching.